Hello, everyone, and welcome into the North Carolina Georgia Tech post-game reaction live stream. This game just finished up. Your end score tonight was 74-73. Georgia Tech getting the win over North Carolina. I am here. Me and Alan both are here. Alan, what do you think about tonight's game, man?
It's a classic game in Atlanta. The classic trap game. It's been called the trap. It's been called a trap game ever since Florida State. Ever since the win at Florida State, they come out in the second half. They get up by I think 11. you know, Georgia Tech starts hitting some shots. North Carolina kind of goes cold. North Carolina starts turning the ball over. I think they finish on like a 12-1 run. In the final 5 minutes, North Carolina went 1 from 10 from the field. They go in tied at half, and you go in tied at half with a team that shouldn't even be able to hold a candle in the wind to you. Um, then they're going into the locker room. Hey guys, we can do this. I think at the under 8 timeout in the second half, I text you. I said they now believe. Um, give credit to this team that they didn't give up. They fought until the end. The refs single handedly fouled out Elliot Cadeau in the second half. Every single foul call, maybe one is justified when he reached around and tried to knock the ball away from. I think it was that fluffy haired kid George. He
Yeah.
hit the ball, but the ref still called a foul. I think that's his fourth foul. They never really showed a replay of Elliot Cadeau's fifth foul. Um, but yeah, and then for RJ Davis to be completely knocked off platform in the final shot to not call a foul there. I don't care if it is. You're putting the best free throw shooter in the ACC, one of the best, one of the top. He's probably top 3 in the country in free throw percentage, and North Carolina's only down one, and it would essentially win them the game. The referees still have to make that call. The referees made that call for Duke when they played against Clemson, and Duke was down one. Duke went on to win by one. It's the same situation here. That was clearly a foul. There was more contact on that play than there was in the Duke play, and RJ Davis didn't get the benefit of the call, and North Carolina loses the game. But it never should have come down to we should have got the foul call in the final seconds of the game in order to win the game. North Carolina should have put that game away in the first half.
Yeah, North Carolina had about a 10-point lead early in the game. Georgia Tech came out and scored the first points of the game, and I think it got all the way up to 23-13 when the big dunk from Jalen Washington hit. Big time spectacular play from him. I thought he played pretty good in the minutes that he was allowed tonight. But one thing I will say for sure, I just want to rattle off some stats to you tonight. 3-point from the 3-point line, North Carolina went 8 of 28. That's 28.5% from the 3-point line. Georgia Tech, however, went 9 of 20, 45% from the 3-point line. They had 3 guys, one of them off the bench, in double figures. Those are last name George, Kelly, and then that Sturdivant that seemed to be hitting everything under the sun. So North Carolina, on another hand, and I'll say this, had one player in double figures tonight, and that would be RJ Davis with 28 points. Had a great game. RJ, he caught contact, figured he probably would, but played very well, played through it, and honestly single-handedly willed this team back. Seth Trimble with some big plays there late down the stretch, but I want to talk about Armando Bacot for a little bit. Mondo ended up with 9 points, 9 rebounds on 2 assists, got a steal, 1 turnover, 3 fouls on the night, went 4 of 8 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. The problem I saw for Armando towards the end of this game especially on the rebounding side of things. He seemingly just got a little, shall I say, stiff, shy, if that is, to get in there and be physical. I don't know why that is. Alan, did you notice that? Is that just me, or did you notice that as well throughout the back stretch of that game?
Well, yeah, early in the second half, I think you saw Hubert Davis pull Mondo out of the game for his lack of effort on the defensive rebounding side. On the rebounding side, there was no effort at all to start the second half. So Coach Davis set him for five game minutes, maybe 5 or so game minutes.
Yeah.
Brought in Jalen Washington. I don't I don't understand. I don't understand why Mondo is not bringing effort, especially when he's a 5th-year, 6th-year senior, preseason All America. It just makes no sense to me. Um, Effort, toughness, it just it it wasn't there the entire game. They came out with the effort and the toughness and the want to. They got up, like I said, I'm pretty sure they got up 11. Uh, and it's just I guess they expected Georgia Tech to roll over. Georgia Tech fought back. Okay, you go into the half tied at 36. You're like, okay, that's your wake up call. North Carolina, this team is here to play. They beat Duke. They beat Mississippi State or Ole Miss, whichever one. So they have the ability to beat good teams. It's just, do those teams let them hang around long enough? And North Carolina let them hang around. It got to 5 minutes. You're down 8. They fought all the way back. Take the lead. Credit to the floppy hair kid for the like left-handed falling away layup that banked in. Credit to that Stoudemire guy that banked in the 3-point shot. Like leaning into RJJ was trying to create a foul that was 10 miles too long, and just having to bank it in and put them up 4. Credit to them. They made the plays. They made the plays when they had to. They took advantage of the free throw line when they got there. Because I think at one point, North Carolina I think averages is around 75% set in the 70s as a team from the line.
Yeah.
At one point in the game, they were 4 for 10. Like I said, Georgia Tech came into the game ranked, and defensive efficiency was ranked 208 in Division One. There's 208, and I think there's like 360 some odd teams that qualify. So they're in the bottom percentile. They average a team average of about right around 32% from the 3-point line. They go almost 50. We talked about today when we was discussing tonight's game. I said I was concerned about how easy Florida State was able to shoot the 3 and have good looks at 3. And I said we'd see what happened tonight. I feel like Georgia, some of them were tough contested 3s, but some of them, were just step ins, and that's concerning because you got a team coming Saturday that can definitely strike it from 3. So I mean, you got to tighten it up. You fell into the trap and you got trapped. So North Carolina, I hope it was worth it. Now you got the number 7. You're still going to be ranked 3rd in the country, so it's going to be a top 10 matchup when Duke comes to town. You'll still say number 3 ranked North Carolina versus number 7 ranked Duke. Comes Saturday at 6:30 at tip off. So maybe maybe hope you dang well better be ready for that game because you fell in the trap and now you got a couple days to dig yourself out of that, recover, and we'll just, if you gotta what was the old saying, great teams win over great teams beat bad officiating.
Bad reffing jobs. Yeah.
So we almost beat I mean, we're right there at the doorstep of a great team because we almost won because of bad officiating.
Yeah.
Um, TV Teddy, he got us again. Um, he's the one that turned his back on Joe Barry. He's notorious for a player trying to talk to him, and he tries to show him up for the TV. He's you know it's another game in Atlanta, Georgia. If North Carolina never has to go to Atlanta, Georgia again, it'll be too soon.
Yeah,
Um,
no joke.
but yeah, I mean, trap game, all the cliches they overlooked them. I'm sure they didn't overlook them, but they put their effort and toughness showed that they had one eye on the Blue Devils and one eye on the Yellow Jackets, and the Yellow Jackets was all systems go for tonight.
Yeah, a couple things I want to bring up real quick before we go to comment here I see in the chat. Um, let's talk about the free throw percentage. North Carolina has been a very good shooting team this year. Tonight, 9 of 17 from the free throw line. It's 52.9%. It's not good. North Carolina gets those shots, they're making them. And tonight that was a different case. What do you think's going on from the line there?
Like I said, I said in the pregame that um, RJ Davis is, every time he every time he laces up his shoes and walks out on that floor, he's good for 20. And it stood tonight. He is the leader of this team. This is his team.
Right.
It's not Armando's team. It's not Harris. This is his team. Um, he can go for 28. Harrison and Cormac, I think maybe right before the end of the game, before Harrison hit that last three, they were 5 for 25 combined, 5 for 25. That can't happen, especially in a game like this. Seth Trimble, he missed a couple corner threes. Armando, came out aggressive in the first 10 minutes of the game, then kind of just disappeared. Now, whether that was because they're not used to giving Mondo the ball, or I don't know. I guess they're just not used to feeding Mondo. So they got to get,
Yeah, I think
they
that's
have to
another thing that
look
we've
for
kind of talked
Mondo.
about a lot this year is the fact that, for 5 or 4 years now, he has been the focal point of the team. He's been your workhorse, 20 points, 20 rebounds. That was something that we saw every single night. He was the guy. If he laced up 9 times out of 10, he's going out there, he's picking up 20. He's getting his 20 rebounds. But he's not been the focal part of this team at all. And I think that tonight you saw an issue in which Carolina hasn't ran much of that stuff this year. I mean, let's just look at the general idea here. You know, RJ Davis going out there and getting you 20. He's your main guy. Harris Nigger's been pretty good from the wing. Cormac Ryan's been able to hit from time to time. This has really been an outside in team. Well, this tonight, some of those guys weren't there. Cormac Ryan, 3 of 14. Harrison Ingram, 3 of 14. RJ Davis went 11 of 24, hit 28 points. Elliot Cadeau didn't have his best offensive night tonight, only going 2 for 7, 5 points total. So tonight they had and were tested to go back inside. And the problem was, okay, that's all good and grand. Start feeding them inside. Now, one thing I thought was a big issue that I saw last year, that I saw rear its ugly head again tonight, is that you saw issues when Carolina would get down 4, that they would get really stagnant on offense. Like they would just kind of standing around, getting in their sets, passing the ball around. They were even talking about on the broadcast, like you can't beat zone coverage that way. You can't seem to sit there and just get stagnant and just pass around, because I mean they can do that easy. All right, you're just going to pass the ball around the perimeter. Hey, that's fine. We can guard that. No, easy, no problem. You need to start having your guy like Jalen Withers. I saw him standing over there in the corner. Cut, man. Make some movement. Make the defense have to continually keep moving their eyes, because really they're just standing there, arms out, and that's pretty easy to do. Me and you can do that. So challenge the defense, make them have to move around, make them have to understand, what's all around them. And I saw a big problem with that for North Carolina, and then they were committing some really bad turnovers tonight. So, to
Yeah,
go to
no,
this comment
North
really
Carolina,
quickly,
North.
I just
Yeah,
want to, I just want to,
I saw that, and
yeah,
maybe
I
he,
just want to talk about
may,
this for a
hold
quick
on, hold on,
second.
hold on.
But
I'll hit
Ernest,
it. I'll hit it. Let me hit it. Let me hit
um,
it. Let me hit it.
go ahead.
Maybe he joined late. Maybe he didn't get in here. Maybe he got in on the backside. But one of the first things I said was North Carolina had no business winning this game the way they played. None. Was it a foul at the end of the game on RJ Davis? I think we've established. I'm pretty sure that's a foul. Best free throw shooter in the ACC, one of the best in the country. If he goes to the line, we win the game. And I also said after that, you can't rely on the refs to help you win the game. You have to win the game on your own. He might have missed that part, so I'm gonna give him a free pass. Ernest, you have a free pass. Come back next time. Maybe rewind the podcast after it's uploaded, and you'll hear me say North Carolina had no business winning this game. But thank you for your comment and boosting the views.
Oh man, okay, let's continue on here. So I want to go to this question right here that was put up by the Ohio podcast. Love those guys up there, Eric and the whole group up there. It says, "Good evening, guys. Tough loss tonight. Everything is still ahead of you. How does this affect the team heading into the big contest of Duke?" Good question. Very, very good question. I think tonight was a little bit of a eye-opening call here. Like we said, 3-point defense got to be better. I mean, yeah, Georgia Tech hit some wild 3-point shots, and it was a typical game where a team comes in and they're feeling themselves. They're at home. It's a whiteout game. They've got all up for this game, and they just start hitting stuff. And that's going to happen. It's college basketball. We see it all the time. That's why everybody loves March Madness, because you never know when you might get that Loyola Chicago run or the FAU run like you got last year. People were just knocking down stuff, and it's craziness, right? That's just the way college basketball is. That's where a lot of these teams lose, right? But 3-point defense has got to get a little bit better. It'd been doing pretty good over the last couple of games. It seemingly has slipped off. Florida State was a big game. You saw that. You was able to get out of there, get out of there with a win. Tonight, not so lucky. Not so lucky at all. And another thing is you can't just start settling for threes late in the game. That's what really hurt North Carolina, statistical wise, in the back half of the game, because 8 for 28. And a lot of these shots are just to put them up. Like, what are you doing here? So I think where it needs to be, got to get better on perimeter defense, because Duke can shoot the 3-point ball. That's obviously been established here. But also got to get better with being able to move the offense. When things get tight and you're down, you can't just rely on everybody standing on the perimeter and just passing the ball. Like, get some people moving. Pass the ball into Armando. Tell Armando, and Hubert Davis got to get in Armando's face. But hey, bro, time to go. You know who you are, right? And if Armando can't get the job done, hey, try Jalen. Give him a shot. It's definitely time for this team to stand up and get after it, man, because you let Duke come in here, it's going to be high intensity. Now, thankfully, it's in your building, but it's going to be high intensity. They got to get after it. What do you think, sir, before we get out of here?
Yeah, at Duke, Carolina, it what does ESPN say? It always lives up to the hype. These games are typically always played within
4 or 5 points to each other.
4 to 8 points for the majority of the game, and then maybe one team catches a little break and scores 10, or unless one team just gets hot and just blitzes them, and you hold that 10 to 15 point lead. But yeah, no, North Carolina is. We all knew North Carolina wasn't going to go undefeated in the ACC season. that was going to drop a game somewhere, that you didn't expect it to be this game, but a lot of people, saw it coming that it could very well be this game. Um, like I said, Georgia Tech has got some quality wins. Went into Cameron, almost got that win. So I'm not surprised that Georgia Tech won, as much as I am surprised that North Carolina didn't, keep up that energy and effort the entire 40 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
But I think, I'm pretty sure that, Hubert Davis is going to have UNC ready to play on Saturday. If you have to be told and coached that you need to bring the energy, effort, and toughness to North Carolina Duke, then you probably shouldn't even be on. You probably shouldn't be on the floor, much less in the building.
No joke.
That
Don't even
game
need to be in the building.
That game is. I mean, it's the biggest rivalry in college basketball. It's probably the biggest rivalry in sports. That game draws more attention, probably nationwide, than probably even like an Auburn Alabama football game, and we know how big that is.
OH.
Oh yeah, even the Ohio State Michigan football games.
I'm
that
waiting
that
for the IO to pop up in the chat. Quite frankly, I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's a huge rivalry.
Yeah.
So to have a basketball game, rival those massive football followings, it's one of the biggest. And you shouldn't need to be told, hey, you got to go get the ball, you got to box out, you got to rebound, you got to play hard, you got to play tough for 40 minutes, because it's 40 minutes of the hardest basketball you'll probably play all year. And you shouldn't have to be told.
And that's gonna wrap us up for tonight. I think North Carolina's got a lot of growing pains to go through tonight. A big time, growing moment and maturing moment for this team here. I was reading this comment. It says, if you watch the game or have any basketball, you would know the officiating was terrible, but I'll admit GT played great and UNC didn't. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That is 100% accurate.
I can agree with that.
Carolina, started out this game, a team that was ready to go out here and win a game big, and they didn't keep the energy. And Georgia Tech they're just, they're a young team trying to get their culture set. And, this was a great game for them.
They played hard for 40 minutes.
Yeah, give them credit where credit is due. Would like to have some things back, but hey, it is what it is. But we're going to get out of here. North Carolina loses to Georgia Tech in Atlanta, 74-73. We're going to be back tomorrow night, same time, 9:00 tomorrow night, with a special guest, Russ from the Tar Heel Huddle. We're going to be previewing the Duke-North Carolina rivalry matchup this Saturday. It's going to be absolutely fun. Got some other things to include you guys on. And pretty soon, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about North Carolina's matchup against Georgia Tech tonight. Is it a big deal? Is it a game that we're okay, losing? And is it going to help or propel or maybe even halter this team moving forward? Let us all know down in the comments. Alan, thank you as always. I appreciate you, good sir. And as always, go Heels.
Go Heels.
You don't want none. I'm good. I'll die.